Day 545 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 1526, minimum number of increments on subarrays to form target array. The difficulty level is hard, but don't worry because you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, hype, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. You are given an integer array target. You have an integer array initial of the same size as target with all elements initially 0. In one operation, you can choose any subarray from initial and increment each value by 1. Return the minimum number of operations to form a target array from initial. The test cases are generated so that the answer fits in a 32-bit integer. All right, y'all, so that sounds simple enough, but let's go ahead and take a look at these examples anyway, just to make sure that we are doing this problem correctly. So in example 1, we have our input target equals an array of integers 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. The output is 3. Output is 3 because it took 3 operations to turn an array from 0 into this array, right? So the operation allows us to choose any subarray from initial and increment the value of 1. So let's take a look at the explanation to make sure we understand what that means. So we need at least 3 operations to form the target array from the initial array. The initial array starts at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So as you can see, this right here is the same size as this. Boom, like it says right here, you have an integer initial array of the same size of target, right? Boom, so we have all zeros. So we can take, what we want to do is we want to choose any subarray from initial and increment each value by 1. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to increment 1 from index 0 to 4 inclusive. So that means we're just going to increment this whole subarray. So this right here is our subarray that we're picking, and we're incrementing this whole subarray by 1. So now the array is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, right? Boom. Then we're going to increment 1 from index 1 to 3. So now we're going to look at these 3 ones, and this is the new subarray that we are going to perform this operation on. So when we perform this operation on this subarray and increment each value of this subarray by 1, now we have all those ones become 2s. We still have this one here and this one here. So as you can see, we're getting closer to this final target array. Boom. Then all we have to do is increment 1 at index 2. So we could just pick this 2 right here. That's our whole subarray that we're choosing to increment. So after we increment this 2, the array this 2 becomes a 3, and the array becomes 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Boom. So that's how that question works, y'all. But just in case that didn't make sense, let's take a look at example 2. Example 2, the same principles apply. So let's take a look at it. So in example 2, this time we have the target equals an array of integers 3, 1, 1, and 2. The output is 4. The explanation says we start with 0, 0, 0, 0. Boom. So after we have 0, 0, 0, 0, this is our whole subarray right here, right? So that means we're going to increment this whole subarray by 1. So once we do that, now the whole subarray becomes 1, 1, 1, 1. Boom, but we're not done yet, because now we're getting to where this is where it's getting a little tricky, because we have to increment different ones one at a time this time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to increment this one. So now this one becomes this 2 right here. Boom. Then we're going to do it again on this one. And now this one becomes 2 right here. Boom. So now we have the array 2, 1, 1, 2. Boom. Now we're still not done, because we need to make this 2 into a 3. So we're going to do it again. And now this 2 becomes a 3. And the final array is 3, 1, 1, 2. So that's our target, 3, 1, 1, 2. Boom. Now for example 3, same principles apply. Our input target equals an array of integers 3, 1, 5, 4, 2. The output is 7, right? So this is the first operation is 0, 0, 0, 0, or excuse me, the initial array is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Then once again, we just increment the whole array. So now we have an array of ones. Then we need to increment this 2. So we increment, or excuse me, after we have the array of ones, we increment this 1. This 1 becomes a 2. Boom. Then we need to increment these 3 ones, right? Because this is 5, 4, 2. So once we increment these 3 ones, now we have 3, 1, 2, 2, 2. Boom. Then we're still not done yet because we need to increment these 3 3s. So these 3s become 4s. Boom, that's another operation. Then finally, we just need to increment this 4. This 4 becomes 5. And that is our final operation. Boom. And so after all that, that took 7 operations. So our output is 7. Boom. So I hope that makes sense to y'all. And now that we understand the question, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Solution is not that difficult at all. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by setting cur to the minimum value in the target array, or which would be 0. And this is going to represent the current height we've already built up. So we're going to declare a variable called cur, and we're going to set that equal to target dot min, put the parentheses, and we're going to say question mark 0. Boom. Then we need to initialize the total number of operations with that minimum value, since we at least need the min operations to bring all elements up from 0 to at least the smallest height in the array. So we could just declare another variable called count, and we'll set that equal to cur. Boom. Now we need to iterate through each element in the target array. So we're going to say for I in 0 dot dot less than target dot count. We're going to open up the brackets, and then we're going to say let t equal target square bracket I. Boom, come underneath that, and if the current target value t is higher than the previous cur, we need to perform t minus cur additional operations to raise the height from cur to t. So we're going to say if t is greater than cur, we're going to open up the brackets, and we're going to say count plus equals t minus cur. Boom. Now we need to update cur to be the current height. So we're going to come underneath this for loop right here, or excuse me, still inside the for loop underneath this if statement, and we're going to set cur equal to t. Boom. Now we need to return the total number of operations needed by coming right here, and we can say return count, y'all. And that's all she wrote. Let's go ahead and give it a run. Make sure it runs properly before we submit it. Let's see. Now let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still accepted now that we know that it works and runs. And look at that, y'all. 0 milliseconds beats 100% of users. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see, y'all. So with that being said, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.